Hello everybody and welcome here. I'm Mirko Galassi from webenjoy.net and today we have a great guest to talk with, Mr. Shel Horowitz. Hello Shel, how are you?
Very well, Mirko. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure and honor to have with us. Thank you very much to accept my invite.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be in front of your Italian audience. Italy is one of my favorite places.
Thank you, thank you. Shel Horowitz is an international speaker and a TEDx alumni, multi-award winning bestseller author and transformational business consultant, and also author of Going Beyond Sustainability.com. First of all, what does it means transformational business consult?
I really look at the intersection of profitability on one hand and social change and environmental healing on the other. So I look at what businesses can do to be more profitable while addressing things like hunger or poverty or war or catastrophic climate change. It's really very exciting work, and it's the most exciting work I've ever done, and also maybe the hardest because you have to change the whole mindset that says that we've always had these problems and we always will. So I think we can do that. I think we can actually, as individual human beings working together, we can make enormous difference in how we do things in the world. But too often, I think we try to do it through guilt and shame, and that doesn't work so well. So instead, I look at the profit motive. I look at people actually being able to succeed in business by doing these things. And it's just wonderful to feel like maybe I can have a role in helping us get there.
Okay, before to go ahead, I would like to spend a couple of words about your book, if it's possible. So, first of all, I've been very surprised on how many top testimonials and review your book, to name but a few. Only monsters such as Jack Canfield, Seth Godin, Michael Port, and Tadan Rice. Here in Italy, Rice has become a legend thanks to Frank Merenda. I would like to recommend to you this Italian marketing is doing great things. The second thing I like is not charge 15-minute consultation with you for the people that have bought and read your book and need help for their business. And last, of course, but not least, the amazing work you have done of research and study. I think it's very impressive, Shel. So I hope that
grazie. And I should mention also that this is an older book that is actually in Italian. It's a translation of Guerilla Marketing Goes Green. It's not as comprehensive as the newer book, but for those who cannot read in English, this is something I believe it's still available in Italy.
Yeah, but this is the first book that helped me to know you. Okay, so. That is okay. Unfortunately, there is no in Italy a translation from green marketing to heal the world, but hopefully we will find someone interested in doing it soon. Okay.
Who knows? Maybe someone listening to this call will say, "Oh, I want to translate that book and publish it in Italy."
And get the copyright, of course. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Okay. And from your point of view, what could a small business use a green approach, and how would be effective from profit point of view?
Well, of course, small businesses have less surplus capital than big businesses. So we have to be, and I'm a small business owner. I have actually a home-based business with no full-time employees other than myself. So I suggest looking at, there's an idiom in English called low-hanging fruit. It means you go for the easy things that you can do cheaply first. So any business can typically find a number of ways to go green that actually save money and are easy to implement. So if you start with those things, then the money that you start saving on your energy bill, you can put aside maybe to reinvest in some bigger things and spiral it out from there. It's always a process. I have been doing this work a very long time, and just this June, I was able to switch my house and my office to, instead of heating from oil, heating from hot water generated by cow poop and food waste.
Yes.
it took me until now to be able to do that. I've lived in this house for 20 years. And the circumstances aligned, and I'm very happy to do it. I did solar on this house back in 2001. I did hot water, and then in 2004, I did a very small and inadequate photovoltaic system for electricity. But there's a lot of stuff you can do just by as simple as the electrical outlets that are on outside walls. If it's cold in the winter and hot in the summer, you can put in the little piece of plastic that you buy in the hardware store to keep babies from sticking their fingers in them. And you can save a lot of your energy costs just by doing stuff like that, just by caulking the windows. So start with the easy things. Start with the things that pay for themselves almost immediately. Go to LED lights, which have gotten so much better now than they used to be. They're far more efficient than incandescent lights, and a good deal more efficient than the compact fluorescents, the one that looks like a corkscrew. So these are very easy things to do. And in fact, I will make a gift to anybody listening here. I happen to have an ebook called Painless Green, which has 111 different tips to save energy and water, most of them either free or very, very inexpensive. And it's normally $9.95 US, but I will give it to anybody who goes to painlessgreenbook.com/Earth Day and puts in your name, Mirko, M-I-R-K-O, and then you'll be able to download that ebook.
Yeah, we can write below the video the URL. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The problem of Italy have 6.2 million businesses, of which 3.9 are small business owners, such as plumbers, consultants, lawyers, etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is the strategy, the green strategy that people like that could do to make a good business, to make their business better,
I think when you're looking at marketing green or social entrepreneurship companies, the easiest thing to do is to look at the market you're going to. And I see three major markets for green products and services or social change products and services. There are the deep greens. Those are the people like me that think about every buying decision. What is the impact on the earth? How can I make this planet better through my purchases and through my lifestyle? Then you've got what I call the lazy greens. They're people like my mother-in-law. They want to do the right thing if it's easy, if it's right in front of them, if the recycled toilet paper is on the same shelf in the same supermarket as the stuff that's taken from virgin forests, for example. And then you've got the non-greens. And you can market green products and services to even people who are not only not green, but even hostile. But you have to do it very differently. You can't say, buy this because it's a green product and it'll help save the earth. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But what you can say is, this product is more durable. This product is better made. This product uses only natural materials, so it won't give you skin rash and it won't give you breathing problems. And you can phrase it in the self-interested benefits as opposed to the planetary interest benefits. And you'll be able to get those people. It's interesting. Even the deep skeptics will buy green products and services if they're marketed for the comfort or the durability or the quality that is in the product and all of these things that they want. And then you can kind of sneak a little bit of like, well, by the way, the reason this is more durable is we use an all-natural fiber that is farmed sustainably and blah, 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 blah.
So at the very base, the product should be, of course, a good product or maybe the best product. Then, if it's green, it's better and there's a double effect.
Yeah, but the trick is to say that it's better because of these green features, and therefore they start thinking differently, and eventually maybe they come over to our side and we don't have to fight with them to see the problem.
Yeah. In your book, you talk about the magic formula, quality, integrity, honesty, as important values that customers use to choose where to buy. When it is not going to work, and what is another strategy to use?
Well, I first of all think that it almost always works well to use honesty, integrity, and quality, because people want to do business with people that they like, people that they trust. And one of the many interesting things that I learned in researching these books is that when you bring back an existing customer, or even better, get that existing customer to bring you a new customer, your marketing cost is basically zero. And when you are starting from scratch and having to convince them to choose you in a crowded marketplace, you have a very high cost. Sometimes the cost can be in the hundreds of dollars or even the thousands of dollars to bring in a single client. So by turning your clients into enthusiasts for your company and your products and your services, and even ambassadors for them, for you rather, you short circuit that big expense of reaching out and bringing in a new customer from scratch. And the way you do that is by being a company that people want to deal with, a company that shares the values of its customers. And customers, make no mistake, they are not only demanding green, but they're beginning to demand some progress on some of those larger issues I talked about before: the hunger, the poverty, the war, the catastrophic climate change. So, and it's not that hard to figure out, and this is something I help companies with, to figure out what kinds of products and services you offer that can actually make a difference. Like, as an example, one of my clients right now manufactures solar lights. Well, she's still in the startup phase. She will be manufacturing solar lights the size of a cell phone. And that has implications, for example, for disaster relief. After the hurricane in Puerto Rico a couple of years ago, imagine if she could have sent a truckload of these things down there to distribute in places that didn't have power for months, and how much goodwill that would have been for the people who lived down there to then do business with her company later, and to probably get a corporate sponsor to actually fund that purchase. And it spirals on, and everything is connected.
Okay, but what would you suggest? So to a web designer or a web developer or a consultant that work in the web field, in the internet field?
Well, for that kind of service business, I might look at how can you choose that as your market. If you want to be a green web designer, then you want to be designing websites for green companies. So I would market myself to those companies. I would have enough expertise so that I could talk cogently with them about their carbon footprint or about their use of resources and the other things that give them, the client companies, the web designer, an edge in the green market. And then really focus my own practice on, I understand these things. I can help you make an impact to those three kinds of buyers for green products and services. And that's, I think, a very powerful way to do it. And it's something that any kind of service business can do. If you're a plumber, you can be installing solar systems. If you're a lawyer, you can be working on land use agreements for parcels of land that have both solar and forest on them.
So you mean focusing on all the stuff that is related to the green and sustainability.
Yeah, if you go after those clients and if you develop that expertise, you will find them.
Okay.
And Italy, I know, has a number of, it's not just solar, but you have a number of different pieces of the green economy. I believe you've got some hydropower, for example, which is another non-fossil fuel way to generate electricity. And I know that in Italy, the cars are much smaller and therefore much more fuel efficient. And when I was there a few weeks ago, I did notice that there are beginning to be a lot more hybrid cars than there were certainly the first time I went to Italy 15 years ago. So and I noticed a big recycling consciousness in every city we were in. The street trash barrels would be 3 different barrels.
And well, actually, for about the golden rule, there is a word that I don't understand very well. That is quality. You talk about quality, and always I made a little of difficult to understand what quality means for you. Because quality is quite subjective, words.
It's subjective,
Okay.
but there You can look at, for example, the audio industry, stereos. I know that that's kind of an obsolete industry now that most people just listen to music on their computers. But like for a while, you could buy stereo components based on the brand name. You knew that a certain brand name would be a good quality product. It would last a long time and give you good sound. And then in the 1980s and 90s, a lot of those companies started introducing lower end models, and you could no longer count on the brand name. You would find that you would buy something that used to be a marquee brand and it would be useless in 2 or 3 years. Now, quality from an environmental point of view, one of the things about building a high quality product, a product that's going to function well and last a long time, I think that's probably the quickest definition of quality I can give you, is something that meets both of those criteria. It's going to do the job well, and it's going to do it for quite a while. So you would buy something that you thought was going to be a marquee brand, and you maybe were buying last year's model at a discount, and then you discovered that it actually wasn't very well made, and you felt cheated. And what that happens when you have that happen is you stop trusting that brand, and that brand loses you as an enthusiastic customer, an ambassador, and you're open to a next brand coming along with a better product, or you're open to simply looking for a different way to accomplish your goal, in this case, listening to music, and you discover that you can do it just fine on your laptop. So the failure to provide quality has ramifications. And I think the companies that get it, that do really good stuff, it's much easier for them to get people coming back. If you get to the point where you're only selling on price and you're a commodity, then nobody has any reason to do business with you if anybody comes along with a cheaper offer.
Exactly.
Whereas if you build it on quality and other attributes, on values, the kinds of things we were talking about earlier, well, then people will still do business with you, and the dollars become less important. They're willing to pay a little bit more for a better product or for a company that has better values.
Okay, thank you, Shel. And supposing I have a strong competitor and I want to neutralize it, what would you suggest to do using a green marketing strategy?
Okay, well, I'm going to maybe surprise you and say the very first thing I would do is see if I could neutralize them by partnering with them. What kind of joint venture could we do together that would help both companies and make them an ally rather than an enemy? And interestingly enough, some of the biggest companies in the world have succeeded by doing this. And it's I know you have FedEx in Europe, but you also have national post offices in every country. And in the United States, the National Post Office system has a partnership with FedEx, because they offer overnight delivery of mail, and historically they didn't really know where mail was at any given time. So they get FedEx to move that mail point to point, airport to airport, and then the post office takes over for the local delivery. And it's using the resources of both companies very well, because FedEx knows exactly where any package is in the system at all times and can guarantee that overnight delivery, while the post office can get to any remote rural corner of the United States with somebody who's going there anyway every day. So it's a wonderful partnership.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So that's one way. And then sometimes you can't partner with your opponents. So then you have to figure out, how can I, as a guerrilla marketer, find the way in? And I'm reminded of the classic story that my co-author, J. Conrad Levinson, used to tell about how a storekeeper was very, very nervous when another store in the same industry opened a huge megastore right next to him. And then on the other side, a third competitor came in with an even bigger megastore. So this guy hung a sign in his little tiny storefront in the middle that said, "Main entrance." You know, it's a joke, but it shows the idea. You think creatively and out of the box. I have a client who has a very small pet store chain, and he actually put a sign in his window at one point that said, "We fix the problems with dead fish that those other fish tanks that those other companies sell are causing."
Sorry, I didn't get it.
He was being undersold by large corporate competitors who were selling cheap fish tanks.
Okay.
And he said, if you were going to buy the cheap fish tanks, you're going to need to know how to deal with the dead fish, or you could buy mine and not have the dead fish problem in the first place.
Okay.
So he was marketing on the quality of his fish tanks.
I got
in
it.
that situation. And he actually went on to develop a second career as a speaker on how you can survive when a Walmart opens next door.
Okay, in guerrilla marketing, to hear the word, you mentioned both Apple and Walmart, two big companies with two different approaches to green marketing. Would you share your vision about this topic and with us?
Sure. Well, Walmart is a really interesting company. It's a company that I personally don't shop at. I have some major issues with their labor policies and their store siting policies and a lot of other things. But what I don't have an issue with is their commitment to green business, which is phenomenal. We have a chain here. The largest natural foods chain in the United States is called Whole Foods, and they have them everywhere. We even have one in my little town of Hadley. And Whole Foods has really built a brand for organic and natural products around the country. They're now owned by Amazon, in fact. And Walmart, which is a deep discounter working a very blue-collar market, Walmart actually sells more organic food than Whole Foods does. And Walmart has also done more to green their operations, from their truck fleet to the lighting in the stores to the way the doors trap cold air. It's just phenomenal what they've done. And they've also gone to all of their suppliers and say, you want to sell with us, you're going to have to stop using all this ridiculous wasteful packaging. And so they've done more to green the supply chain than anything I will ever do in my life. And it's fascinating. What I love about this is that they are selling the $15 billion a year of organic food to people who are never going to go in a Whole Foods in their life. They've created a whole new market that doubled the size of the market. So I applaud them for that. They're also, they have gone for cheap over quality in a lot of situations. So you find sometimes that some of the things you might buy from Walmart don't necessarily last that long or do the job that well. So it's great when they're selling food is something that you don't have that issue with. You buy a container of milk and you drink it before the expiration date and it's fine. But a piece of furniture, maybe not so much. Apple went for design excellence, and they do beautiful products. I'm talking to you right now over an Apple laptop. They have not been as good on sustainability. They're still really getting their toes wet, and they need to be doing a lot more. But they develop high-functioning, beautiful products that are fun to use. And I think they need to take that mindset and think about how they can do that in ways that help the earth be more high-function. And I think they'll get there. Okay. But they've got a ways to go.
So in that case, the product itself could be much more a green marketing approach. I mean, even if Apple doesn't have a green marketing approach, the product is so strong that that can take the company to work well.
Yeah, and certainly Apple can be marketing their computers as solutions to running green businesses. But I do think that if anybody's really looking at, how much recycled plastic is in the machines and stuff like that, or what are the working conditions in the shops in Asia where they're manufacturing, there are some questions there. And I think it's going to be a challenge for them. I think they're going to start experiencing some pretty deep customer resistance as people find out that they're not really walking their talk on this.
Thank you, Shel. I think we have almost run out of time, and I know there would be many other things to say, and at this point I believe it would be great to have you come back. And
I would love to do that. I do want to tell people that they can reach me at goingbeyondsustainability.com. There's a contact form there. That's the best way to reach me. And that website is all about how business can actually make money working on things that make a difference in hunger, poverty, war, catastrophic climate change, etc. And one of the nice things about living in this time and in the situation we have is that I, working from my little farmhouse in Massachusetts, United States, can have an international business. I am not fluent in Italian, unfortunately, but we have like Google Translate, and many people in Italy do speak English, of course, and I can actually have a conversation in Spanish, but not Italian. I think it would be really, Europe in some ways is so far ahead of the US in terms of the cultural and political mindset about the importance of these issues and the steps taken. United States could learn a lot from Europe in, for example, most of Europe, the per person energy use is about half of what we use here in this country. So this is one of the invitations I'll make to the people in your audience here, is that if you have a product that is being successful in the EU and is green, you may be well positioned to come on over here if you can save somebody half of their energy use and therefore half of their energy bill. There'll be a market for that. I mean, my solar panels were actually built in the EU.
So thank you very much, Shel, for to be here with us, and hope to see you very soon.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank
Grazie.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.